Hi everyone, my name is Jason. I play games, and today I'm putting sandwiches on a tier list. Someone on the internet found an old book diagram of an encyclopedia of sandwiches and used it to make a tier list. So, when I saw it myself, I knew that I had to get in on this. We have 40 sandwiches here, and while it's by no means a proper full encyclopedia of sandwiches, there are enough of the must-haves here that I feel comfortable taking this meme and making it mine. Now, I have to give a few disclaimers. First things first, this is my personal opinion. We might not see eye to eye on some of these things, and that's fine. I can't wait to see how many people get into the YouTube comments to flame me and tell me how stupid I am for not liking liverwurst. Don't at me. Second, we're going to presume that all 40 of these sandwiches are made in ideal fashions with top-of-the-line ideal ingredients. I mean, let's be real about it. We've all had a bad meatball sub. Here's looking at you, Subway. But we can also agree that the difference between a bad meatball sub and an amazing meatball sub is pretty healthy. I actually considered doing a version of this tier list where I had a bad, an average, and a perfect sandwich for each of the 40 sandwiches, but that video is getting close to 2 hours, and you don't want to watch that. You don't want to see it. Under the consideration that we're going for my ideal version of every sandwich, I may alter the ingredients a little bit here and there to suit my ideal tastes. I'll try to stick with each sandwich as it's listed in the meme picture as close as I possibly can, but if we're talking something that may make a difference of a letter grade or two, I'm changing it. Alright, it's time to dive in, and I'm actually going to skip ahead a little bit and make a real spicy take, and we're going to start with the grilled cheese. And I'm going to tell you now, grilled cheese is overrated. It doesn't matter how good of cheese you use, how good of bread you use, grilled cheese is just kind of grilled cheese, and the only thing that you can really accessorize grilled cheese with is tomato soup. And I'm not excited about tomato soup. I don't know very many people who are excited about tomato soup. And before you start adding me about tomato soup, I've had good tomato soup, but it's still not the most exciting thing. If I'm going to get top-of-the-line ingredients, then yeah, I'm going to use fancy cheeses and fancy breads. But I really struggle to open up a can of Italian San Marzano tomatoes and make a frickin' soup. I'm going to make pasta sauce. I'm going to make pizza sauce. I'm going to make things that do a way better job of accentuating something and make something more huge and coherent. At absolute best, grilled cheese is a crouton for a soup. So it's C rank. And I know that I'm going to make some people mad about that, but it is what it is. Now, bacon, egg, and cheese. Breakfast sandwiches are an absolute joy. A properly done breakfast sandwich is even greater. Considering we're going with idealized ingredients, I would be doing, instead of bread, it would probably be a croissant. American cheese, I'd swap out with cheddar because American cheese does one thing right, and that's melt. I want cheddar because I want flavor. The bacon, I have no problems with the bacon. The egg, nothing wrong with that. A good, proper breakfast sandwich is not only going to taste really good and be really filling, it's going to keep you going for a very long time. So I'm putting that right up in the A rank. Mwah, I love it. Going to the pulled pork. A good pulled pork shoulder, barbecue sauce, coleslaw, that's a thing of beauty. I have to admit that I have a bias to this one because I absolutely love pork. I love pork in pretty much all of its forms, so generally, if something calls for something pork in this sandwich list, it's probably going to do really well. A properly pulled pork sandwich is just, it's deep. There's so much that you could do with the barbecue sauces. It's hard to say what would be my ideal pulled pork sandwich because I could think of 4 of them that are making me salivate right now. And I need to stop because I'm going to make a mess of myself. So we're going to throw that right up in S rank where it belongs. Next up, the banh mi. Now, a proper banh mi is not simply just meat, pickled vegetables, cilantro, and mayo. Yes, there is mayo. Yes, there's cilantro. But the pickled vegetables are typically pickled carrots and pickled daikon radish. And the meat, it varies. There's a bunch of different banh mi's. My personal favorite ones involve a roast pork, and I was introduced to the Vietnamese banh mi sandwich when I started dating a Vietnamese girl. And I gotta tell you, this going right up into S rank because that's where it belongs. If you have a good Vietnamese restaurant that makes a good banh mi sandwich, by God, get friendly with them. Order this sandwich. eat this sandwich. Thank me later. Okay. BLT. Bacon, lettuce, tomato, mayo. Simple. Straightforward. To the point. But the thing is that if you've got good fresh tomato, and you've got good crisp lettuce, and you've got some nice thick, got some bite to it peppercorn steak, then you got yourself a pretty decent sandwich. It's on the light side. Good crispy steak makes this really stand out. It's an A-rank. I like it. We'll revisit BLT in a minute here, but don't you worry about that. Italian subs, cured meats, oil, vinegar, onion, lettuce. We've all had Italian subs. There's a lot of Italian subs out there. Most people who are going to school right now, like, I'm looking at you, Underdog's Cup, Tetrio kids. I'm pretty sure you've had cheap, chintzy Italian subs for your high school lunches. And I can promise you that a well-made, proper Italian sub is light years ahead of that. If we were doing school lunch Italian subs, it would be in off the screen because it would be 4 ranks below D rank. A properly made Italian sub, not bad. Not super exciting. There's other things that I'm going to go for if I go to a sub shop. It's not going to be an Italian. But if an Italian sub were presented to me, I'd thank them for the food and be like, oh, this is great, and actually probably mean it. So we're going to put that at the B rank. Next up, the Thanksgiving sandwich. This is where you take all of your Thanksgiving leftovers, your turkey, your gravy, your stuffing, your potatoes. If you're real freaky deaky, you throw in the cranberry sauce. I put in a little bit of mayo into all of that just because why the hell not? But this one was a hard one because we're talking about ideals. And typically when you have a Thanksgiving sandwich, you toast the bread and you just put it together and you hope that it holds. I would put that in a panini press because there was a sandwich shop that I used to work next to, and whenever it was November, I looked forward to their Thanksgiving panini sandwiches. These things are immensely satisfying, will give you all the satisfaction of eating a Thanksgiving dinner, but it will also take way less time to set up, and honestly, you're not going to be in a food coma afterwards. You're not going to have grandparents being like, oh, you can eat some more, it's fine, and then you go for your 4th plate, even though you really don't want to go for your 4th plate because, by God, you already feel like you're going to explode. A rank. The Lobster Roll. Lobster meat, mayonnaise, and celery. Here's the thing. I love lobster, but I don't love this sandwich. I think lobster is a wonderful, rich treat that does not need help. I think adding mayonnaise adds too many calories, makes it feel too rich, and yeah, you can try and balance it out with a little bit of celery and a little splash of lemon to cut through that richness, but honestly, lobster rolls just feel like too much. And before anybody comes at me and says, oh, how could you not like lobster rolls? I lived in Maine. I lived in Maine for the majority of my life. I don't like lobster rolls. Only reason they're not going in D rank is because it is lobster, and lobster's pretty great. So, C rank with the lobster roll. Now, Turkey Club. Turkey. Bacon, lettuce, tomato, mayo. Where have we heard this bacon, lettuce, tomato, mayo thing? Oh, yeah, it's in the BLT. Now, so one would think that adding turkey to an already fantastic sandwich would make it better, right? Wrong. If you zoom in on this Turkey Club here, you'll notice that there's like 3 pieces of bread, and they've got like all the veggies and the cheese down below, if you even put cheese on it, which you should, because cheese on sandwiches, am I right, folks? And then you've got all the protein stuff up here, and the only time I've ever really seen club sandwiches is in places that are trying to come off as richer than they actually are. You're seeing them in country clubs, you're seeing them done on high-end frou-frou French cooking channels, and really, I've yet to have a turkey club that makes me go, wow, that's so much better than I thought it would be. I don't. They're not that great. I'll eat one if it's given to me, but I'm not going to go writing home about it. Therefore, Turkey Club is a rank below the BLT. And I'll even start doing these like in specific order of favorites afterwards if I have to, because I have words about some of these. But I digress. Number 10, the Tuna Melt. Tuna salad and cheese. Now, this is a theme that you're going to notice, that there's a lot of like foods on here that involve mayonnaise. and there's such a thing as too much mayonnaise. I think tuna salad is just kind of gross. Like, don't get me wrong, I like tuna fish, but I tend to like it charred, seared a little bit, with a sesame seed crust and pert near raw in the middle, instead of flaked apart and annihilated, and then smothered in 7,000 calories of mayonnaise. And cheese, I don't like adding cheese to seafood. I don't think it works. Unfortunately, that means Tuna Melt is very, very low, but it's not as low as some of the other ones on the bill. I'll probably politely decline this, but it's still a C rank. Next up, fried chicken. Everybody loves fried chicken. I've yet to see anybody who really vehemently goes against fried chicken that isn't vegetarian or vegan. This one is listed as fried chicken breast, lettuce, tomato. We're throwing that right out. Fried chicken breast, mayo, pickle. That is a fried chicken sandwich, and that's a comfort food. That's a comfort food. Especially if you want to take it a step further and add pepper jack cheese, bacon, lettuce, and tomato. It's basically the fried chicken that's listed here is good. It just needs a couple of things. But once you get there, that's a satisfying bite. That's going right up there in A rank. Philly cheesesteak. This one says thinly sliced beef, cheese, and onions. A lot of people add mushrooms to their Philly cheesesteak. I can't, because I'm allergic, and I will die. I'm not kidding. I will probably cease to exist. But one of the controversial ingredients that I like adding to my Philly cheesesteak is if we're grilling those onions, which you are grilling the onions, aren't you? Tell me you're grilling the onions. You grill red and green bell peppers with it, because those add a really nice depth of flavor. And then we got to talk about cheese. And a lot of people say that provolone is the only cheese that you make a Philly cheesesteak with. As a matter of fact, anybody you ask for a Philly cheesesteak recipe will tell you that their recipe is the only correct recipe, and no two people have the same recipe. Mine involves Swiss cheese. Mine involves a bit of hot sauce, because I like a little bit of bite to my Philly cheesesteak. But when you get down to it, a Philly cheesesteak is satisfying. A Philly cheesesteak will fill you up. You will feel good about eating it. You will feel like that you're spoiling yourself. But typically, Philly cheesesteaks are a little bit less expensive than you think that they would be, especially considering how labor-intensive it is to shave the meat as thin as it gets. We're going to go with putting that in an A rank, and I like that, especially because it's right next to fried chicken and it almost doesn't look bad. Look at that. Look at how that comes together. All right, I digress. Number 13, the Cubano. Ham, pork, Swiss cheese, pickles, mustard. All these things work really well together, but what they're not talking about is the Cubano bread. Cuban bread, when pressed into a panini, is the most satisfying, delicious, crispy on the outside, soft and fluffy like a cloud on the inside. And when you combine that with the rich, indulgent flavors inside the sandwich, with the acidity of the pickle to cut through it so it doesn't feel like you're eating 7,000 pounds of butter, oh my god! I don't think I need to explain that this is going up in S rank. There you go. Number 14, the Meatball Sub. We talked about a meatball sub. We talked about how bad the bad meatball sub is. You get a sub from Subway and they don't toast it right and the bread's soggy and there's never enough sauce and meatballs are dry and crumbly and yeah, you know where I'm going. And then you get the good meatball sub where the inside of those meatballs are like velvet and the sauce has just enough complexity to it. I like to add pepperoni to my meatball subs because I like that little bit of extra spice and I like that little bit of extra chew. I've heard of people putting bacon on their meatball subs, and you're brave, and bacon is usually a guidepost to making things better, but I think that's almost a bit too much. A really properly made meatball sub is something that I will you give me a good foot-long meatball sub, foot-long football. See what I did there? Total accident. I'm not editing this out. I'm gonna make myself look bad. I don't care. But you give me a good foot-long meatball sub, and I'm gonna take like 4 days to eat it. And I'm gonna thank you for it, because that's 4 days that I'm not gonna have to cook. That's A rank. We're gonna talk about 15 and 16 at the same time. The Croque Monsieur and the Croque Madame. They both involve the same base of ham, bechamel, Gruyere cheese, which is a fancy French cheese, Dijon mustard. The only difference is that one of them is topped with a fried egg. So, here's the thing. Like, you have this baked sandwich that is covered in cheese and bechamel sauce. It is incredibly rich. It is not a sandwich you eat by picking up. It is a fork and knife affair. And it is a sandwich that you eat when you want to just laze out and veg out. It's incredibly rich. It's very heavy. It feels like a fork and knife meal. Are they good? Yeah. I'm not a huge fan of mustard in its many forms. There's like only a couple of instances of mustard where I'll actually eat it without inwardly retching. If you go light on the Dijon mustard, I like these. They're not something that I'm going to order regularly. They're not something that I often think about. But they're good. The only difference is that the Croque Madame has a fried egg on top. I'm not huge on that. I don't really care much, but I'm not going to turn it down. If somebody like surprised me with like, oh, I made you a Croque Madame for dinner, I'm going to be like, Pog, I'm going to come over to your house more often if this is the kind of stuff that you serve me. I'm going to put them both at a B rank because, yeah, you know how it is. All right, number 17, the Reuben. Corned beef, Swiss cheese, sauerkraut, and Russian dressing, typically on marble rye bread. Oh my god, Reuben sandwiches. If the sauerkraut kind of turns you off, trust me, you want it. You want the texture. You want the slight bit of acidic kick. You want that interest, that intrigue. Pastrami or corned beef, like either way, corned beef pastrami, corned beef pastrami. I want some corned beef pastrami now. Good lord. I could gush and gush and gush about this sandwich, but this is right up here. It is the first non-pork sandwich to make its way into the precious S ring. So before anybody says, oh, just like pork, no. I like good sandwiches. They just happen to feature pork more often than not. Number 18, the Gyro. Yes, it says Gyro, G-Y-R-O, but it is pronounced Gyro. It is cooked meat, typically lamb, tomato, onion, and tzatziki sauce, which is a creamy yogurt-based sauce with lemon and cucumber in it. It's very light, it's pretty damn satisfying, and it's usually served wrapped in a pita bread, which, okay, look, don't let the pita bread turn you off. Pita bread used to be like this big, nasty, negative thing because you got served pita pocket sandwiches at lunch at school, and they were typically garbage. Remember, we're not doing school-ground garbage, we're doing idealized ingredients. Gyro is really good and really hearty, and Greek food is amazing. I order from a Greek place like twice a week while I'm down here, and I pretty much, like, if I order from them, I'll pay $12 for my meal. I'll have to eat it over 3 days because they feed you. And it's light and fragrant and flavorsome, and there's a lot of vegetable involved, and good stuff. That's going right up there in S rank. Delicious. All right, number 19, the po' boy. Po' boy is a fried seafood sandwich, usually with lettuce, tomato, pickles, mayo, and hot sauce. This is a New Orleans thing, so there's going to be a lot of hot sauce. And fortunately for me, I like a lot of hot sauce. I actually just generally like fried seafood in general, and the fact that they don't try to weigh this down with, like, cheese, don't put cheese on your po' boy. Don't do it. Don't do that to yourself. If you want to be a real fancy boy, you make sriracha mayo. You do the same thing, like any Asian restaurant that claims that they serve bang bang shrimp. Bang bang sauce is sriracha mayo. Trust me on this. I've worked for those kitchens. And it makes for a really fantastic fried shrimp accompaniment. I think it's a little bit weird to eat it in a sandwich, but if you come up to me with a shrimp po' boy and you tell me that you made a sriracha mayo, I'm going to devour that. We're going to go ahead and put that up in the A rank because it belongs there. Number 20, the caprese, mozzarella, tomato, basil, olive oil. Usually grilled in a panini form. This one is kind of a mystic, weird thing to me. Because caprese salad, which is just slices of tomatoes, slices of mozzarella, typically topped with a bit of basil and a little drizzle of olive oil, I love those. Putting them in a sandwich, it's only marginally better than a grilled cheese, which makes it not a grilled cheese. It's good, but that's not what I'm going to put those ingredients towards. It don't feel right. So, that goes B rank. Slightly above grilled cheese, but not by much. Next up, we've got the patty melt, which is a hamburger with cheese and caramelized onions. And typically it is served on a grilled sourdough bread, which ends up crisping up really nicely, and you get a really nice kind of contrast of textures and flavors. I think the caramelized onions are a fantastic mix with this, because typically when they blend with the juicy hamburger, you got a real nice flavor there. They show in this picture that there's pickles, which, I mean, sure. Actually, that does sound really good. I'm going to try that the next time I have a patty melt. As for putting it on the tier list, it's going up in A rank. Let's go. And now we go to egg salad. Okay, so egg salad is chopped boiled eggs, mayonnaise, which is made out of egg, and then lettuce, so that you have something green on the sandwich, so that you don't feel bad about the fact that you're basically eating eggs and oil. That's literally all this is. Remember how I said I had there's too many dishes that involve too much mayo? This is one of them. I don't like egg salad. I don't understand how anybody likes egg salad. If you do like it, there's nothing wrong with you. Do you realize how many calories you're putting in your body every time you take a bite of it? D rank. Yeah. All right. Getting out of that, French dip, which is a roast beef sandwich typically deep dipped in beef jus. So the juices that the beef ends up cooking in and roasting in, you dip the sandwich into that and eat that. You need a phenomenal bread to make this work. But, oh boy, it's phenomenal when it does work. The only thing I would change is I would add a little bit of horseradish, just like a horseradish cream sauce, spread it on the toasted bread, and then put in your meat, and then provolone cheese. You want to add that together, and then all of a sudden you have a dippable sandwich that takes those flavors and runs with them. Mwah! This is an S rank for sure. Absolutely, if you know a place that does a good French dip, by God, order it. Oh my lord. Number 24, the peanut butter and jelly. Like, it's hard to get excited about a PB&J. Like, it's hard to get excited about a PB&J, because if I'm going to do something that involves peanut butter and fruit, I'm going to make a formal dessert out of it. I don't want a sandwich. And besides, if I do a peanut butter sandwich, I'm adding honey, not jelly. I think that honey is a more neutral flavor that plays a lot better with peanut butter. If I want, like my favorite jelly is apple jelly or mint jelly. I'm not eating a peanut butter and mint. As for apple jelly, I'll actually get an apple and then dip the apple into peanut butter and consume about 7,000 grams less of sugar. It's hard to get excited about a PB&J, but at least it's not an egg salad. All right, next up, number 25, the torta, which is steak, beans, lettuce, tomato, avocado, and cotija. And that sounds great. The only complaint I have about it is that I'd rather have it in a tortilla. But it's not bad. It's a good sandwich. It's a satisfying bite. Once you get past the fact that it's in bread, which is a little bit more chewy than your typical, this would be a fajita. This would be a steak fajita, if not for the fact that it were in bread. But it's good. I'm going to pop it up in B rank. All right, number 26, roast beef, thinly sliced beef, barbecue sauce, or horseradish. If this looks like it came off of an Arby's menu, it's because it probably could have, except for the fact that, you know, it has about 1/3 of the beef if you get it from Arby's. It's boring. There's so many better ways that you could do a roast beef sandwich. I'd rather have an Italian sub. I'd rather have a French dip. There's like, Nope, that's a C rank. Not exciting. Number 37, Jambon beurre. It is a French sandwich, which is French ham, salted butter on a baguette. This sounds like it would be boring. It also sounds like it's bad for you. It is. It's ham and it's butter. And if you have a good homemade butter, it works. It works a lot. And making a homemade butter, pint of heavy cream, big old mason jar. Pour the heavy cream into the mason jar. Seal it closed really, really tightly. Shake the hell out of it for like 15-20 minutes. And I mean vigorously shake. Arm workout. If you're not sweating, you're not shaking hard enough. And the butterfat and the buttermilk will separate. Keep the buttermilk. That buttermilk is delicious. It's great for a gazillion recipes. Get a bowl of ice water. Squeeze out the excess liquid. Like, submerge your butterfat in there. Squeeze it out. Wring it out. Like, get a cheesecloth. Squeeze out all that extra liquid. And then you have a really good butter. And if you use that to make a jambon beurre, which is, once again, idealized ingredients, wow. That's magical. I'm going to go ahead and put that up at A rank. Because I think it deserves it. Go away. Nobody likes you buttons. Number 28. The Tonkatsu. Fried pork chop, mayo, tonkatsu sauce. Japanese tonkatsu is heavenly. A properly made tonkatsu will make you forget all of your problems in life. It will clear your acne, it will water your crops, and it will remove all traces of doubt that there is still good left in this world. Number 29, the Monte Cristo. Ham, turkey, Swiss cheese, fried and served with jam. I don't know how I feel about the jam thing, but when I had Monte Cristos in the past, they were made into a French toast-style sandwich and topped with syrup. Surprisingly good. Messy. Fork and knife, but I like it. That's going B rank. Ham and cheese is something that you could get at Subway, who cares? Bagel with lox. Number 31. Bagel, cream cheese, smoked salmon, onion, and tomato. I like salmon a lot. And I really like smoked salmon. And I know that I made a statement earlier about not liking the combination of cheese and seafood. It didn't end here. This is a big thing. It's a big thing. You go to New York, there's going to be bagels with lox all over the place. It never hit me. It never got to me. So it's going down here in C. Number 32, the falafel pita, which is falafel, lettuce, tomato, onion, cucumber, and hummus. All of these things are delicious. All of these things are delicious together. If you add some tzatziki sauce, which it looks like it does in the graphic here, you have yourself an amazing thing. You will not need cheese. You will not need meat. It's amazing. Greek food is amazing. Up you go. Number 33, chicken salad, chopped chicken, mayo, and celery. Remember how I said I hated foods that involved too much mayonnaise? Yeet! Number 34, veggie and hummus. Veggies are fine. Hummus is delicious. Usually they're served with a bit of avocado and some carrot. Carrot for the crunch, avocado because avocado tastes good. I like hummus a lot. If you have a really well-made hummus, it is a delicious spread that is good on just about anything. There are a gazillion sandwiches in my life that I've made where I have improved them by adding hummus. However, it doesn't have falafel, so it can go up here. Number 35, bologna. I don't have much to say about bologna. I'm not gonna. Number 36 is the Italian beef, which is I'm not going to edit that out either. Roast beef, green peppers, and giardiniera. See, the thing is that, like, if you talk about what an Italian roast beef is, a proper Italian roast beef, properly made, is probably amazing. Notice that I say probably amazing because I've never really had a good experience with Italian roast beef. That being said, we're going by theory crafting ideal ingredients formed in the ideal fashion the way that I like them, which ultimately is a frickin' cheesesteak. B rank. Number 37 is the Kentucky Hot Brown, which is turkey, bacon, tomato, and Mornay sauce, which, honestly, Mornay sauce, you use that to make homemade mac and cheese. It's an open sandwich with bacon and tomato. This is an umami bomb. It is a fork and knife deal. It seems like it would be sloppy and messy, and it kind of is, but it's also really tasty. So up into the A ranks you go, buddy. Number 38, the bocadillo, which is jamon, bread rubbed with cut tomato. A full cut tomato, whatever. You're basically doing Spanish ham and some tomato. Tomato's an umami bomb. Spanish ham, when done properly, if you got, like, the best of the best, the creme de la creme, you probably paid $500 for that sandwich. For what you're going to get at home, it's probably not going to be anywhere near as exciting. But we did say we're doing ideal ingredients in an ideal fashion. And while it's a simple sandwich, we're going to go ahead and throw this up at the A rank. Yeah, let's go. Number 39 is liverwurst. I can't make liverwurst sound good. I can't talk about liverwurst, mustard, onions, and cucumber pickles and make that sound appetizing. I can't do it. I'm not going to try to do it. Goodbye. Get out of here. And last but certainly not least, the cucumber tea sandwich, which is just nicely sliced bread with the crusts cut off, cucumber, and unsalted butter. It is pretentious. It is a big fashion statement. And it's really satisfying. It's actually pretty good. And I'm going to go ahead and yeet this up into B rank because I feel like it's good. And there you go. Half an hour later, I finally finished my tier list as to what sandwiches are amazing blessings from the gods and what sandwiches are abominations and God's mistake in the culinary world. Once again, these are my opinions. And if you have a problem with that, then I'm actually going to put the tier maker list down in the description, and you make your own video explaining why you're right and I'm wrong, and the real secret is we're both right, buddy. It's okay. Also, aren't you glad that I only did this with these 40 listings? Because if I did good, bad, and average, we'd be at the 2-hour mark. You don't want this to be at the 2-hour mark. Don't make me do it. No, don't make me do it. Anyways, thank you so much for tuning in, and if you watch this entire thing, blessings be upon you, because I rambled about sandwiches for half a frickin' hour. Don't forget to check out the Patreon, don't forget to see me play games live on Twitch, and don't forget to be excellent to your fellow party members, as we're all looking to share the experience equally. Alright guys, this is Jason signing off, and I will see you next tier list. I mean, next game. Bye!